The balloons were still swaying when the first scream cut through the music. A child's laughter turned to panic as the smell of smoke and something far worse filled the air. By the time the last candle guttered out, 3 people were dead, and the quiet suburban street would never be the same. It was the kind of late summer Saturday that neighbors talk about for weeks. The Ramirez family in Oakwood Heights had planned their daughter Sophia's 8th birthday for months. Pink and silver streamers wrapped the backyard fence. A rented bounce house stood like a bright castle. Around rent a guest's family, school friends, and a few close neighbors gathered as dusk painted the sky orange. Among them was a man nobody recognized. He lingered near the food table, wearing a baseball cap pulled low. To most, he looked like someone's +1, but later, every witness would remember his ice cold scanning. The Ramirez family seemed picture perfect. Maria, a pediatric nurse. Carlos, an IT consultant. 2. Happy. But 2 houses down lived Gary Holden, a quiet man with a temper everyone ignored. For years he'd feuded with the Ramirezes over a property line and late-night parties. Friends say he once warned Carlos, "One day you'll regret pushing me." When Sophia's invitation list went out, someone slipped an unsigned note in the Ramirez mailbox. "Keep the noise down, or else." Maria dismissed it as petty. By 7 p.m., the backyard was alive with music and the scent of grilled carne asada. Parents chatted. Children chased each other around the bounce house. Carlos noticed the man in the cap again, standing near the back gate, watching. When Carlos approached to ask who he knew, the stranger smiled thinly and drifted away. At the same time, Gary Holden was seen walking his dog along the alley behind the house, muttering under his breath. 2 neighbors would later recall the metallic glint of something in his jacket pocket. As the cake was brought out, a small firework popped in the distance. At least, what everyone thought. 10, a second sharper crack followed. Guests turned toward the alley fence. A bottle crashed to the ground. Smoke curled above the gate. Maria screamed for the children to get inside, but the stranger in the cap slipped through the crowd toward the gate. Witnesses disagree on what happened next. Some say the stranger pulled a gun. Others insist they saw Gary Holden vault the fence, but everyone heard the shots. 3, in quick succession. Carlos collapsed near the grill, a red stain spreading across his shirt. A neighbor, trying to shield Sofian, was grazed across the arm. Maria grabbed her daughter and ran for the house. As more smoke filled the yard, someone had thrown a lit rag into the trash bin. Now flames licked the wooden fence. Police arrived within minutes. The backyard looked like a war zone, balloons melting against the heat of the burning fence. Guests huddled in shock. Carlos was rushed to the hospital but died before dawn. Officers found footprints leading toward the alley, but no gun. Witnesses gave conflicting descriptions. Some swore the shooter wore a baseball cap. Others said it was the neighbor Gary. Detectives canvassed the block. Gary's house was dark. His dog barked from the backyard, but Gary himself was gone. 2 days later, surveillance footage surfaced from a convenience store a mile away. It showed Gary Holden buying lighter fluid the afternoon of the party. But another clip, from just an hour before the shooting, revealed the man in the baseball cap entering the same store paying in cash for a box of fireworks. Detectives wondered, were there 2 conspirators? Or had someone set Gary up? 5 days after the shooting, police found Gary's truck abandoned near a wooded park. Inside was the handgun that matched the ballistic evidence. When they finally located Gary hiding in a hunting cabin, he claimed innocence. "I was there," he admitted, "but I didn't pull the trigger. I only meant to scare them." Pressed for hours, Gary finally broke. He had hired a co-worker and ex-felon named Martin Ruiz to teach Carlos a lesson. Martin, the man in the cap, had panicked when Carlos confronted him and opened fire. Gary had brought the lighter fluid to burn evidence but fled when chaos erupted. Martin Ruiz was arrested 2 days later after a short chase on the interstate. In court, both men faced charges of first-degree murder, arson, and reckless endangerment. Gary's neighbors packed the gallery, stunned that the quiet man next door had plotted such violence. At trial, Sofiania testified that she still dreamed of balloons popping like gunfire. The jury deliberated just 4 hours. Both men were convicted. Gary received life without parole. Martin was sentenced to death. Today, the Ramirez backyard has been rebuilt. Sophie is a teenager now. Each year on her birthday, the family lights a single candle not to celebrate, but to remember. The neighbors say the street is quieter, but no one calls it peaceful. The memory of that night lingers. The smell of smoke, the echo of screams, and the sound of balloons deflating in the dark.